The community gathering outside the church in Sacramento for a vigil tonight to remember the 3 young girls shot and killed by their own father last night. It happened during a supervised visit. David Fidel Mora Rojas shot his 3 daughters and the visit supervisor before turning the gun on himself.
I'm grateful to know that I know these girls and that I'm able to love a little different, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Such a sad story. We learned today those 3 young girls went to school in the Natomas Unified School District.
And ABC 10's Giacomo Luca is live where this all happened. Giacomo, this was not the father's first run-in with the law.
That's right, Madison and Chris. We already know the father had arranged supervised visits to be able to visit his kids. But aside from that, we also know that he had a series of illegal battles, and it really appears by all accounts he was spiraling. According to the sheriff's office, they say he was actually living at the church. We also learned this evening that there was a restraining order that his children's mother had brought out against him. And we're also learning just 6 days ago, the man had been arrested in the Central Valley for DUI, assaulting a police officer and resisting arrest. Authorities have yet to suggest a motive for an incident that has really shaken this community and has many people here wondering tonight why a father would do this to his kids.
Even through tragedy, God is still God.
This church member present on the grounds when shots rang out was not ready to speak about what happened, but wanted to share an important message.
Even through a situation like this, in darkness, there's still light.
One of love and forgiveness in the aftermath of an incident, leaving many in Arden angry, frightened, and grieving.
There were 4, and then one slight hesitation, then another one.
Taken to the ground in fear, neighbor Sandy Davis counted 5 gunshots, hitting way too close to home.
My sister was murdered due to domestic violence. I take it very offensive.
A day after the tragic events, community members paying their respects, offering flowers, balloons, and other reminders of the innocent lives lost.
Says our Rest in Heaven girls.
They may not know the victims, but these 24-year-old twins know the powerful bond shared by sisters.
It's really a tragedy, and can't imagine like what the family is going through.
And as a church, we're going to overcome this as a community.
And the community is working to overcome this right now. You see a very somber vigil taking place, and you can see quite a display that's been put out by this community with candles and rabbits and stuffed animals. Rabbits, I'm told by the librarian of one of the girls you heard from earlier, was one of the girls' favorite animals. This is certainly something that's going to continue in our coverage. We know Luke Clary will be picking up more tonight from this vigil on Late News Tonight. We'll send it back to you.
It's horribly sad, and also tomorrow would have been one of the young girls' birthday. She would have turned 11 years old tomorrow. So sad. Giacomo, thank you. Also, ABC 10's investigative reporter Andy Judson acquired the restraining order and other relevant court documents. Here's what they say led to this tragic incident.
A nightmare for any parent, especially a mother who less than a year ago represented herself in court, requesting a domestic violence restraining order against the father of her children, David Mora. In the request, she detailed her partner and father of her children having continued mental health issues and being physically, verbally, and emotionally abusive. She detailed him threatening to kill her, leaving her with bruises, choking her, and saying she was scared, nervous, and afraid he's going to hurt me. He said that he has not killed me because he would not know where to go with the children, the mother wrote. Specifically, on April 17, 2021, a fight about her wanting to transition from shelling tamales to cleaning homes sparked an outburst in front of their children. When she called police, Mora was admitted for a 5150, or a mental health hold, after expressing a desire to kill himself. 11 days later, she filed for a restraining order as well as custody of their 3 daughters. In the request, she said he did not have firearms, but was at risk of taking the children out of California. She asked the Consulate of Mexico to also be notified of a restraining order. The request was granted here at the Superior Court of California's Family Relations Courthouse. Restraining orders that do not have a specific amount of time expire after 3 years. For this restraining order, the court wrote in it would not expire for 5 years until May of 2026. It required Mora to stay 100 yards away from his children and their mother, as well as have no contact except for during supervised visits with his children. The supervisor was a friend of the mother and fellow member of their church. Law enforcement said they believe this was the 4th victim killed, 59-year-old Nathan Kong. The restraining order also required Mora attend 16 group anger management sessions. Once he completed those, the court said he could refile to consider unsupervised visits.
David Mora was also arrested for a DUI, battery on a police officer, resulting injury, and resisting arrest in Merced County just last week on February 23rd, where he was booked into jail.
I'm here now with ABC 10's Brandon Rittiman. Keep in mind, deputies say the father shot his 3 children during a supervised visit, which he was allowed to have as part of the terms of his restraining order. Now, the person supervising that visit was shot and killed as well. And Brandon, the sad thing here is that these visits are supervised as a way to try and protect the kids, right?
Right, and that's what went terribly wrong in this case. We still have a lot to learn, but there are already a couple of big red flags here. The most glaring, we learned just today, that this father was living in the church where the visit happened. I talked with somebody who not only does this for a living, but who trains people to do it as head of a state association. In a domestic violence case like this one, she says she would not do a visit in a public place like a church, let alone in the father's home. It's the kind of case Debbie Comstock told me she would insist on doing on her turf at a center.
In training, we talk about domestic violence situations and where there are restraining orders as being some of the most dangerous cases to supervise. Some centers will actually ask the person to take all their personal items and put them in a locker. Some will even wand for weapons. Some do, to help ensure some of that safety. Once that is taken care of, only then do the children arrive.
This shooting happened in a supervised visit that was a lot less controlled than that.
And we see the heartbreaking results here. So, Brandon, we know that that supervisor of this visit was also killed in this shooting. Did he need training or certification to do this work? What do we know about him?
Yeah, so the mother describes him as her friend in these court documents, apparently through the church. And by all appearances, he was a volunteer, willing to do this out of kindness to the family. And that's perfectly legal in California. Basically, if you're 21 years old and you don't have a record of hurting children, you can do this as a volunteer. Professionals, people who supervise these visits for a living, do have to go through training, and they have to have safety protocols, like who's going to show up for the visit first, what screening is going to be done, etc. Paid or no, Debbie says it's worth putting serious thought into these arrangements, making detailed safety plans for visits and calling them off when problems pop up.
There's a reason why a visit's been ordered to be supervised. The court has already made a determination that this is not okay to just happen on its own. That in and of itself should tell you something.
In this case, we learned there was an arrest just a week ago in Merced County with the father accused of DUI and attacking a first responder. We don't know if that information made it to the mother or the man supervising these visits with the father. If not, why not? If so, why'd this visit go ahead anyway while those new charges were pending? A lot of questions that need answers.
A lot more questions than answers indeed. Of course, it's something you're going to be following in the days ahead. Our Brandon Rittiman reporting for us tonight. And of course, we're following several angles of this story, so stay with ABC 10 for updates on air and online at abc10.com.